My name is Ben Riley. I'm related to this reality's Peter Parker. How? I'm his clone. Or maybe he's my clone. We're not sure. This dimension's Peter Parker had it pretty rough. He had already lost Uncle Ben. Then Aunt May passed away. That nearly unbalanced his mind. But then Parker's path crossed with a brilliant scientist, an expert in genetic cloning. His name was Miles Warren.
How's it going, y'all? Rowdy Riles back with another video. Super duper excited for this one because my Hasbro Pulse order finally came in with KAINE and Chameleon. So today we are doing KAINE from the Clone Saga, and I'm also going to do a Clone Saga video like within the coming week, so it'll come out when it comes out, but I'm gonna start working on that now that I finally have KAINE. So yeah, with all of that being said, let's take a closer look at the box and we'll get this bad boy open. Taking a look at the front of the box, you can see that he is on the classic looking retro card from 90s Toy Biz era, and it says Marvel's KAINE, and it is the first Marvel Legends KAINE that we got, and I'm so excited about that. On the back, we get the rest of the wave, which is Spider-Man Unlimited, which they should have added more paint to, and use the Renew Your Vows body if they were going to go that, because it's not a good book. Agent Venom, who I did a review on, check that out. Spider-Boy and Electro, who we are going to wait for Ollie's clearance, and then we have KAINE and Chameleon, who of course KAINE is here, and then we have Chameleon sitting right next to me right now. You can see the drawing shows he has swappable hands, and his blurb says Marvel's KAINE. As the first of Jackal's attempts to clone Peter Parker, KAINE was left with conflicted feelings towards both his maker and Spider-Man. So with all of that being said, beware the mark of KAINE.
I see you've met him. Well, he cloned Spider-Man. To make matters worse, the clone escaped. I thought I was that clone.
So I don't want to ruin this card specifically because it is that classic looking one, and I do have the other classic looking retro cards, and it's KAINE, so I'll try my best. I'm using a X-Acto knife. You can't see it right now. Maybe I can. But I just cut around the edges of the plastic. I know I've described doing it before, but it is also difficult to do that while filming without cutting yourself. But there's a little bit. I'll get it the rest of the way. But yeah, let me grab him out of here, hopefully. Out. There we go. There he is. And the card is still mostly intact. So here is our Marvel Legends KAINE out of the box, and he is pretty cool. It would have been great with more accessories like an unmasked head with that scarred face, and of course the mark of KAINE hand would have been super cool, but it is all new sculpt with a lot of paint. And I'm actually impressed with the sculpt. Other than not having a waist ball joint, he's got butterfly joints. He's got all the bells and whistles. And we've got that almost black bodysuit for KAINE here. But you can see it's also got all that sculpted blue veiny work on the bodysuit as well. And we've got those blue spiky fins. And the only problem I have really is with that hard plastic shell cape. But the color is accurate. He's pink and teal and black. Those are KAINE's colors. So that works really well, and it looks really good. And all the way down to his boots, he's got those fins down there. Just awesome that they fully sculpted this. Would have been cool with toe articulation, and like I said, a ball peg at the lower joint. But he still looks great. That head sculpt, or that hair is nice. It is a brighter color. It more closely matches the VHS Peter Parker, which is kind of weird because I don't think KAINE was in the animated series, but that head sculpt is cool. It's got all the motifs of KAINE. So I am really impressed that we finally got a KAINE figure, and it actually looks like KAINE, although we could always just do with more as far as accessories. But he looks great. I'm really happy with him. He is not bothering me at all, and I haven't done any scaling yet. I literally just got him out of the packaging, so I don't know how he sits next to the Renew Your Vows Spider-Man, which is where he will be, which is my Spider-Man display, because for Renew Your Vows, that's where my Spider-Man stuff goes. All the Spider-Man stuff goes together with Renew Your Vows Spideys, and then Avengers and any other Marvel Legends stuff is always going to be on the Amazing Fantasy, or hopefully the Maximum Spider-Man mold, which I'm having a stream of talking about the price on Thursday, so make sure you check that out when it goes up. So yeah, KAINE is really cool. I'm glad we finally have them. And yeah, as a 90s kid, I do not hate the Clone Saga because it's just plain old goofy fun, which is what comic books are about. And KAINE definitely fits that mold, being the first failed clone of Peter Parker. And like I said, I'm also going to do a Clone Saga rundown with the figures like I did with Secret Wars. So stay tuned for that. Checking out KAINE's height, he stands at about to the top of his hair, about 6¼ inches. So yeah, he should, let me just really quick. Yeah, he's taller than Spidey, so that works. Should just be slightly taller. All right, so going over the articulation, this is the first time I'm doing it, so I haven't checked him out yet. Head goes forward and not so much backward because of the cape, side to side as well. It is blocked by the sculpt. Shoulder does come up 90 degrees though. We get a really tight, but it works, butterfly joint, you can hear that. Bicep swivel all the way around. Pinless double elbows, which are beautiful. Ab crunch forward and backward, so he can do that. He can look up for sure for some for some jumping action. Legs come forward to the side, no drop down hips. Back, not so much. We get a thigh cut. Sorry, I'm trying to keep light. We get a thigh cut over here. We get pinless double knees. So can he kick his own butt? Sorry, I am a mess with this articulation today. Yes, he can kick his own butt. And we don't get a boot cut, much like Agent Venom. Thigh cut. It seems like Marvel Legends is trying to move away from the boot cut with their comic figures, which is kind of dumb because they don't need to look like real people because they're comic figures. But regardless, KAINE still articulates really well and looks pretty dang sick, in my opinion. Also, really quickly, I forgot to check if the cape was removable, and obviously it is, which improves the neck articulation, and maybe someone will make a better cloth cape. So that comes off really easily. You just pop his head off and it fell right off. And you can even take off the sash part of the cape if you wanted to. But I may look for a cloth cape just to make this KAINE figure that much better. But yeah, he's still awesome. For accessories, like I said, we don't get too much. We get these two open hands that we've probably seen before. I don't think that they're new specifically for KAINE, but we've seen them many times, and we don't get anything else, unfortunately, which I think KAINE deserves more. Like I said, an unmasked head sculpt would have been nice, and a Mark of KAINE hand would have been nice, but it is what it is. Yeah, these are definitely reused hands, but at least we did get some form of accessories. First of all, here is KAINE with his two brothers, because he's the original clone, and they see themselves as brothers, and that relationship to that regard. So we have Ben, Scarlet Spider, on the left, and of course Peter, the OG Spider-Man, on the right. And they're all roughly the same height, with KAINE being slightly taller because of that big floofy hair, and that's totally fine. So for Renew Your Vows Spider-Man, this KAINE works. Not for Amazing Fantasy, and that's because the Amazing Fantasy Spider-Man goes with the rest of your Marvel Legends. And if you have your own Marvel Legends Spider-Man shelf like I do, Renew Your Vows pretty much fits in perfectly with everyone there, just not with the rest of the Avengers. At that point, he's too tall, so KAINE would be too tall. Well, I don't know if KAINE is the taller version of Peter's clone. I don't know if he was like genetically modified. He definitely looks a little bit bulkier, and he looks way more intimidating, but that's because a lot of time he was drawn from like the down perspective, like you're looking up at him, just to look more like crazy and intimidating and billowy and all that stuff. KAINE's a cool character, and he does become Scarlet Spider eventually with a different suit than Ben. But yeah, like I said, we're going to do a Clone Saga video. We'll talk all about KAINE and Ben and Peter. Here he is with Miles Warren, the Jackal, on the right, and he is actually the creator of the clones, and by that right, the Clone Saga, because he was obsessed with Gwen Stacy, and I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to ruin it for my Clone Saga video. But he cloned Gwen, and he cloned Peter, and he cloned himself. And that's how we're in the whole mess with the Clone Saga when it comes to that point. Here he is with regular old Peter Parker and MJ. And lastly, for some variety, here he is next to Ben Grimm and Iron Man. And I think that about does it for comparisons. I think we got it.
Warren created a clone in my reality who had the same problem.
Peter, I've come back to you.
Mary Jane.
No, but
Mary Jane, what's the matter?
I'm not the real Mary Jane?
That is so, my dear.
Why didn't you just tell me I was a clone?
So with all that being said, y'all, I will say that this Marvel Legends KAINE is totally worth it, because he's totally worth it to me. It was a hole that we needed filled in our Marvel Legends collection. Now we have a whole Clone Saga, like, well, we don't have Spider Side, so displaying model behavior, shout out. I know you want Spider Side, and so do I at this point, because he's the last Clone Saga figure that we need. So yeah, if you like this video, smash like, hit subscribe if you're not subscribed. Comment, let me know if you got this figure, if you're excited to finally have a KAINE. How your day is going, just say hey. Check out the giveaways, 3.5 and 5K. We're giving away stuff, so we're almost to 3.5. 400 subscribers away. So share this channel with friends that share this interest or whatever. Just subscribe if you're not subscribed. If you're liking and you're constantly coming back and you're like, oh, I'm not subscribed, please hit the subscribe button because it helps so much. Keep your head up, stay brave. Look out for your local LGBTQ community. I love you. I will see you next time, and bye-bye.